Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Gift the Gamer 204 back at it again with another video. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, share the video, and just support your boy, man. Trying to grow this gaming channel, trying to get this community going on and popping. Let's get right into this right here. I don't want to make this too long. So as you see here, we have the developers of Stalker 2. Okay, so this is over at WCCF Tech, right? So Stalker 2 on Xbox Series S was thought to be impossible at first. Any modern game can run on the system with proper optimization. All right. So Stalker 2 developer GSC Game World initially thought an Xbox Series S version of the game would be impossible. But now it thinks that any modern game can run on the system with proper optimization. In a recent interview with Windows Central, GSC Game World discussed the least powerful current generation system, saying that at first they thought an Xbox Series S version of the game would be impossible due to the game's many mechanics and the system's lower specs compared to the other current generation systems. But as the studio started optimizing and adding new features for streaming information, they squeezed every megabyte from every piece of system content they could, ultimately making this version of the game possible. Okay, let me just keep going before I give you my thoughts. Following this experience, the Stalker 2 developer believes that every modern game can run on the Xbox Series S with proper optimization. The experience also boosted the studio's optimization expertise, benefiting the PC version of the game as well, making it a lot more performant and lowering the minimum system requirements, which are rather low for a modern game. Speaking further about Stalker 2 console release, the studio confirmed the game runs at 60 FPS on the Series X, with some small dips into the upper 50 FPS range during gameplay and bigger drops during narrative scenarios that have no impact on the experience. But they also hope to optimize the game further, either before or after the launch. On the Series S, the team decided to go with 30 frames per second, of course, gameplay, despite being able to hit 60 frames per second, albeit inconsistently. However, the studio considered a 60 frame per second performance mode possible, though it wasn't specified if it will be available at launch or after the game releases next month. And Stalker 2 launches on November 20th on PC and Series X and S. You can learn more about checking out our Gamescom interview. Okay. So I'm going to start right here on this part of the article. So they're saying, you know how they thought it would be impossible, right, for them to do a Series S version. So they had to. It's right here. Due to the game's mechanics and systems lower specs compared to the other current generation systems, they started optimizing and adding new features for streaming information. They squeezed every megabyte from every piece of system content they could, ultimately making the version of the game possible. Now, if you think about it, right? Think about how long they've been trying to make this game. It's been a while. Can't remember when they actually started or when they presented it to us, like for the first time. I don't remember, but it's been a while. Now, do you think it's taking them this long? Because yeah, I understand the things about the Ukraine, what happened over at Ukraine, and obviously that took into effect as well, like why the game took so long to come out, and that's completely understandable if it had to deal with that. As far as the Series S, that was another hurdle that they had to come over. Obviously, as you saw in the article, what they said. That's another hurdle that they had to overcome in order for the game to be released on the Series S. Now, with that being said, Do you think that every single developer wants to deal with that? That's the question I have for you. Because if I was a developer, I'm not trying to deal with that. Because what for? Like, why am I gonna keep stressing myself to try to optimize it for the Series S? Look at what they said. They squeezed every megabyte from every piece of system content they could. That means they were there, going. They were struggling. They were going in just to make this possible for Microsoft, because that's a Microsoft standard. You got to make it both for the X and the S if you want to put your game over here. If not, take it over there. So, just with Black Myth, I'm gonna just point out Black Myth Wukong. Like, with this right here, think about what Black Myth would have had to do to make it possible for the Series S to run that game. And you know how that game is running right now on the base PS5. For me, it ran good. For me, it ran good. Yeah, I platinum Black Myth Wukong. I beat the game 3 times. The game is phenomenal. My game of the year, by the way. But just it ran good, but it looked so ugly at the same time. Why? Because I have to put my focus on the performance. I need those 60 frames. I'm not gonna play the game at 30 frames. It's just not gonna happen. I can't do it. So I had to take that sacrifice of the game looking the way it looked, which it looked ugly. If I'm being honest, it looked ugly because I had to switch over to the performance mode. So you think about that game and game science trying to just pick apart the Series S to try to make it work for them. That's a waste of time, to be honest. And I wouldn't have done it either, And as you can see, the game is doing very well. I'm talking about Black Myth. I'm gonna make a separate video on that. It might be my next one. The game is doing very well, which is basically saying, like, why would we even come back to the conversation of creating a Series S version when we just blew it out the water without it? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's gonna be 60 frames on the Series X. Finally, that's good. That's good. Because all their, well, this is not a first party. This is gonna be a timed exclusive for Xbox. I believe it's 3 months, and at the 3-month mark, it'll cross over to PlayStation. But, well, and if that's the case, it's not a Xbox exclusive. So that tells me why the game is coming out at 60 frames, because they know they jumping over to PlayStation, and PlayStation gamers ain't gonna have that 30 frames. We not about that on that side over there. So, but yeah, they're saying that they believe, like, with like, if developers take their time, they could bring every game. They can bring every game to the Series S if they just figure it out. That's the problem. Everybody's not gonna try to figure that out. So, and again, this is not a first party game for Xbox. So I get it. You know what I'm saying? That's why they did the 60 frames. That's why they did it. Because you look at Avowed, it's 30 frames. That's a first party. You look at Redfall, it's a first party game that came out 30 frames. You look at Starfield, that's a first party, came out 30 frames. So this game coming out at 60 frames, I think a lot of people are mistaken, because this game is really being marketed, with the Xbox. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people are thinking that this is an Xbox exclusive. So when they read the 60 frames, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you see, there it is. The Stalker 2 is coming out 60 frames, but it's not an Xbox exclusive." So there it is. Those are my thoughts. The game does look good, so I want to play it. I saw a video somewhere on YouTube, and the game looks good. So I definitely want to check it out. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below in the comment section. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button for your boy. Like the video. Share the video. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. All right? Peace.